at Shushei first on Warwick. Let's look at his runes and masteries. Masteries are going to be fairly interesting stuff here. 122.7. He's going to take 1 in offense in the Summoner's Wrath, which of course does improve one of his summoner abilities, either Exhaust, Ignite, Surge, or Ghost. 22 in defense. He's gone down to Juggernaut. He has 3 points in hardiness for armor, also 3 in resistance for magic res, and also 3 in enlightenment. Everything else is fairly standard there. And the 7 in utility, he has got the 1 in summoner's insight, 3 in expanded mind for the mana per level, and finally 3 in meditation for the +3 mana regen per 5 seconds. How's his runes looking? He's got 8.5 magic penetration, plus 3.8 magic regen per 5, plus 24 magic resist at level 18, and finally plus 13 armor. So he is looking to be fairly tanky there at the top lane. Of course, magic penetration will work nicely with his Hungering Strike, which is his Q, which he gets a nice amount of life back for as well. So let's a quick look at Shushei. Let's see who he's going to be featuring against. Let's have a look at Jax. Jax, of course, very strong solo top. He is going to go for plus 12 flat magic resist, flat physical damage on top of that with plus 15, and finally flat armor with plus 13. So he is going for more of the early game, which makes sense because Jax doesn't need a lot of farm to get very strong. So he wants to get a strong start here, make himself super strong against Shushei at top and really push him back. Mastery-wise, Jax is going to be going 21-9-0, 21 in offense and 9 in defense. He's going to go all the way down to Executioner, of course, taking armor penetration, actually twice armor penetration yet with weapon expertise and also the Sunder. Going to go into lethality, so he's going to go for critical strike and deadliness on top of that. And in 9, he has gone for the health, the durability, plus 6 health per level, and also veteran scars, plus 30 flat health from level 1. So that's just a bit of background information for you guys. Going to cut to a very quick commercial break here. We have 1 minute remaining on the delay, and when you rejoin us, we'll be into round number 2 between nFaculty and Fnatic. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, ladies and gents, and we are live now, about 6 seconds through round number 2 between Fnatic and nFaculty. And really interesting team compositions. I didn't mention this before, but obviously on Fnatic they have a lot of global influence here. They've got Shen and Twisted Fate, so at the top lane, it's going to be very interesting to see how that one plays out, because obviously Warwick in a heartbeat can have Twisted Fate ultimating down with Destiny, and also Stand Unite can be going on top of Warwick. So suddenly it could turn into a 3 versus 1 and get very messy for Jax. But that is in the future. Nocturne also has a global ultimate, so he could feasibly come to the aid of his top comrade there. But doesn't look like we're going to have any early fights kicking off just yet. You are going to have nFaculty all chilling out just underneath that mid bush and thereabouts. And on the flip side, you have two of Fnatic at top lane, Cyanide and Shushay just outside the Baron pit. And you've got Peke in the jungle, has just spotted himself some players. Ashe going to fire precautionary volley. Does catch a couple players there, Jax in particular. And Janna is in the tri-bush. She is going to start to pull herself back. She'll be just fine underneath the tower. So she didn't want to lurk around for too long, and we are going to start to see perhaps some recalls coming in. Jax has to keep mindful that he doesn't want to miss too much farm at that top lane. So he will be recalling after the field to go and face Shushay. Will they try the red steal? Well, looks first of all they are going to be taking the Wraiths instead, which of course makes complete sense. And then after the Wraiths, they are going to be taking red, I think. Yes, they will. Karthus, Tristana, and Nocturne. Karthus pulls red there, nice leash for Nocturne. Tristana also filling in with a couple shots. We did see last game actually that red reset for Udyr, and he must have been pretty miffed to say the least. Now, this time we're not going to have a repeat. Tarzan will be picking up that red buff with ease. And the two bot laners will be returning to their place. Shen in the meantime is going to take blue, so Cyanide is going to be slightly behind. We saw this last game as well, but he may be going to try his luck at top lane against Jax. Jax is quite vulnerable to ganks at level 1. He does have the leap strike first though, so he could manage to escape. Some Jaxes may take counter strike, some may take empower. We are going to have the two junglers coming head to head though. Nocturne has popped off, unspeakable horror. Here comes Jax from the side, nice taunt through onto Baron pit from Cyanide. And you have to feel, had he not have done that, he'd have been in all kinds of troubles. His flash is still up, so he would have been a handful to pick up, but Jax was definitely on his way to claim that kill. Grim Reaper Karthus, in my opinion, the only way to play Karthus. Such an epic skin. And he is going to be occupying mid against Peke, who has the Wild West Twisted Fate. I think when we start to hit level 6, it's when it's going to start to get interesting here. Most of these players just want to be lurking around until 6. Then we're going to see the global ultimates kicking off left, right and centre. Peke is very, very active with that Destiny up. So bot, top, mid, nobody will be safe from him. Shen can also ultimate on top of Twisted Fate too, so global presence is always a massive threat with this combination. We're going to see Shen on low health here. He is going for the golems, but never mind, hold that thought for a second. As Ashe, I thought, was going to start to take some heavier damage from Tristana and Alistair there, but both of them opting to just pull back instead. It is early days, the creeps do a fair chunk of damage if you look around for too long and get aggro. And in the meanwhile, Nocturne has picked up his red, going to be pushing towards top lane. Unbeknownst to him though, Shushay is actually recalled, and he's starting to come back up towards top lane. The creeps are pushed just past the halfway mark, but it's going to be fairly even overall. Shushay is going to push into that lane just to find himself getting unspeakable horror from the Nocturne. Here comes the stun, the counter strike, and the leap strike, and the ignite. Shushay is going to go down. But what about that for some CC? And unfortunately, Shushay walked into the wrong bush at the wrong time, and he will be punished for that one. So first blood going to nFaculty, and Nocturne in particular. Nocturne is one of those kind of characters, if he gets fed, he becomes a real handful. In those team fights, he can just pick up the AD carry, just paranoia onto them, unspeakable horror them as well, and they'll go down very, very quickly. So he has gone back to spawn and already finished off the Madrid's Razors, which is going to give him a much quicker jungle. He's going to reach 6 much quicker, and he's going to be more of a potent global threat much quicker too. So how are Fnatic going to counteract that first blood against them? How are they going to bounce back? Shushay is going to put down a ward, as you'd expect. He did pick up the ruby crystal, so... Sorry, not the ruby crystal, the sapphire crystal. The mana, the plus 200 mana. Going to try and stay in that lane for as long as possible, because as long as he has Hungering Strike up, he has a fair amount of sustain. He has also purchased 2 health pots, which would have been from the start of the match. But he does find himself a level behind Jax, and not always nice to see. Big damage being put onto Shushi there from Jax, and he can't really stay around and stand toe-to-toe with him right now. The Hungering Strike replenishing a fair amount of health and the health pot that he's chugged through. But he only has one more to play with. Here comes Jax again, and power has been used. Leap Strike on top of that. Hungering Strike straight back into the face of Jax. So, really just juking it out there between the two. Counter Strike has been popped onto Shushi. Dangerous and low health. The Hungering Strike has been used there, but here comes Requiem from the mid, and that's going to claim the kill onto Shushi. Jax chiming in with the assist. And it's not looking too good for Warwick at top right now. He has 24 creep score to Jax's 37. He is going to be behind on levels as Jax levels himself up to 6. This is all about the global influence this game. Karthus as well, of course. Requiem does damage to everybody on the battlefield on the enemy team, regardless of their situation, regardless of their positioning. They are going to get affected by that Requiem. So, Twisted Fate has popped his ultimate. Where is he going to be coming down? It is going to be at the bot lane. Can he land a stun card? He does get knocked away from Alistar underneath the tower. That was absolutely beautiful, but it's not going to save Tristana. The Shen Taunt comes in, and Moonbird is forced to flash away just to save his life. And important to note, on top of that, Cyanide did ultimate in to save Peke. So beautiful global ultimates coming in, and transitional phase there from both TF and Shen do pick up the kill at bot lane, and that's all they're going to care about. Shushi has picked himself up a null magic mantle on the top lane, but he's really getting forced back. He's getting bullied. He's getting poked and prodded, punched and kicked from this Jax. He's on low health once again, just came back a couple minutes ago. And he has just gone through his last health potion. Jax has enough mana to actually tower dive here, if he so pleases. Having said that though, Warwick is level 6, so probably not the smartest of things for him to do right now. One creep is left. Jax is going to pull back because he's scared of being infinite duress underneath the tower as it is off cooldown. But definitely one to keep an eye out for. Shushi, as I said before though, it's not the first time that he's been pummeled at top lane and still came out strong, so we can pull back this kind of situation into his favour. We saw it very recently actually when I was casting between them and Moscow 5. Darien with Yorick was absolutely destroying him, but he still managed to get his farm elsewhere in the form of kills. In amongst all that, Tarzan Nocturne will be giving Rulum the blue there on Karthus in mid. Twisted Fate is still yet to pick up his blue. And here comes Nocturne at bot. There is a ward down there, but it's a ward from his own teammate, so it is friendly. He's going to be waiting for this cannon to go down so he can push into the other bush. But now the creeps are going to be pushing the lane, so he's probably going to be caught in 2 minds here. Do I stick around a tiny bit longer and see what happens? Or do I just go back? Requiem has been popped here. This is maybe the time to strike. Lots of damage being put out onto Warwick, but beautiful ultimate use from Cyanide. Here comes the damage onto Ashe. I'm going to tower dive. Twisted Fate from the backside. Lands a nice gold card onto Tristana. This could be enough for the kill. Indeed it will be. Janna picks that one up. Not too sure about that one. But another nice gold card landing. Unbreakable Will from Alistar. Is this enough to save him? I'm not too sure. The wild cards will surely be coming out from Twisted Fate. Only one of them needs to land. Will it land? Yes, it will. Beautiful play from Peke through the wall. And he'd also primed himself up a gold card in case that missed. So, nice exchange there. 3 for 3. Cyanide kind of in the shadows there of that beautiful team fight at bot lane. But he definitely saved Shushi from a certain death with his ultimate. Shushi is now coming into heavy attack. Once again, underneath that tower. And he's going to get down from Jax. The Grandmaster's might will come and pick up that kill, which of course is the passive ultimate for Jax that he can activate to get a tiny bit tankier with 39 armor and 26 magic resist as it stands right now. So Shushay on a 0-for-3 scoreline. He's not going to be feeling too good right now. The good news for him though is that the other lanes are by and large doing pretty decent. You're going to have a fairly evenly spread kill feed there. Twisted Fate's picked up one, could easily have had two, but unfortunately Janna did get the last hit. Shen's picked up a kill. Ashe has 2 assists. On the other side, Karthus 101, Jax 102, Nocturne 101. Alistair is trying to come in with the headbutt pulverized combo, but all he does is actually headbutt Lamia away. Dragon has been started here from nFaculty. There is a ward down from Fnatic, so they know what's going on here. Is Shen's ultimate off cooldown? No. Is TF's ultimate off cooldown? No. There's not a great deal it can do here, and nFaculty will be picking up that dragon. Now trying to chase down the assailants of Fnatic. Alistair is coming under heavy attack. Can he survive? No, he can't. Ashe is going to pick that one up. Nice arrow coming in onto Karthus, actually flashing away, but still hitting him. This is going to be Warwick getting dropped though. Tristana gets a double kill. Can she get the triple? Beautiful 1-2 news from Feliox. And PK is going to be running back with his support. Tristana with the rocket jump could be jumping in any second now. Nice Howling Gale used though from Janna. And he could maybe be escaping. With 3 players, it would have been a tower dive on the cards. Looks like Jax is going to be priming up. Oh, Counter Strike and Leap Strike weren't able to come together. That combination will not be landing on Janna. She smartly went into the bush to block the vision. Of course, Jax does need to be able to see you to land that Leap Strike, so Janna really saving herself in that situation. Fairly sure she got stunned, she'd have been down and out there. Here comes Twisted Fate, but Requiem's going to be used once again. And I'm not too sure, maybe that was used more as a defensive mechanism than an aggressive one. I think it was just trying to remind Twisted Fate and the rest of his team that, look, if you come any closer, you actually run the risk of dying. And in that sense, it did work. They both pulled back. So 6-4 is the scoreline. Currently, nFaculty are ahead by 600 gold. I didn't quite catch. I think they got the dragon before. I was kind of preoccupied with a couple of potential fights kicking off, but I'm fairly sure I did pick that one up. I know volley was used from Ashe and it was very close to connecting, but only 400 gold in this, so it shows that Fnatic are getting the upper hand on farm. Cyanide against Jax at top. Here comes Nocturne. Are they going to try a tower dive onto Shen? Taunt has been used. That's going to be good news for Nocturne now. He cannot use that one again. It's off cooldown. Here comes a lot of damage. Ignite's been popped as well. Nocturne's going to pick up his second kill. He does already have that Wriggles Lantern after getting the first blood and a Heart of Gold. So he's doing a nice amount of damage after 14 minutes. Jax, of course, doing beautiful amounts of damage. Twisted Fate is going to be ultimating here onto Karthus. Can Karthus get away? Defile is up. And maybe able. No, Peke is going to land the gold card and the wild cards afterwards. And that's enough to silence the Karthus, who will be going into Death Defy, but no one is close for him to spam those lay wastes around on. So a nice ultimate again from Peke. 106 creep score to him. He has the boots of mobility, just enforcing those ganks wherever he goes. Amplifying Tome and the Blasting Wand. How much gold does he have in his back pocket? 700, nearly 800. And let's switch that over to Karthus. He has about 860, has a Rod of Ages very quickly. And that's about all. A Bilge Water Cutlass on Jax, which will be going towards the Hextech Gunblade. And a few Doran's Blades for that sustain, for that health, and a bit of extra AD. Shen has picked himself up an Oracle, so unlike the last game that we were casting, one of the junglers is going to try and get as much ward coverage out of contention as possible. But for me, right now, Shushay just has to try and farm up, has to try and play catch-up here. And Jax is on 92 creep score, who of course was facing off against him at the top lane. Really went all his way, by and large. Nocturne with the early first blood onto Shushay at top, and since then it's been very much one-way traffic, but Shushay is going to be allowed to free farm for a little while. He has added a chain vest to his disposal. Maybe into Glacial Shroud as time goes on. So it definitely has came the way that we were expecting, with the global ultimates pretty much influencing this game. Karthus 1 kill, 3 assists, has just added the Sork Shoes, completes them off. Twisted Fate now has 1,300 gold. Is he going to wait for 1,600 and go back and build up that needlessly large rod? Definitely a potential possibility. And now Shen has got the recurve bow and the null magic mantle. Wit's End should be finished off fairly shortly for him. Ashe has the pickaxe and the vampiric scepter. And on the other side, Tristana must have a fair amount of gold because she's only got the vampiric scepter and the berserker's greaves. Yeah, she has nearly 3,000 gold to be precise. Here comes the ultimate from Nocturne. Twisted Fate's getting absolutely destroyed. Finally finished off there from Nocturne, with Karthus picking up his assist. And again, that is the strength in a nutshell of Nocturne jungle. He can't just come out of nowhere and really catch you off guard. The wall of pain, the paranoia, the unspeakable horror, and the constant lay waste was more than enough to shut that Peke down. And at 15 seconds remaining for him to stand out on the bench, but he does have that Destiny up, so he could still make an impact after respawning. I'm not sure if he's going to choose to do anything, because it doesn't seem like there's any opportunities going begging right now. And it's important to note as well that both those top towers have gone down from Fnatic. So Warwick is really now going to be in a precarious position. Every time he pushes up the lane to get some farm, he always runs the risk of Nocturne, of Jax just jumping on him, and going further and further behind. Here comes Jax onto Peke, lots and lots of damage. Look at that damage, Requiem's been popped as well. I don't think this is going to be enough from the Shen ultimate comes in, but it wasn't enough to stave off the Requiem. The just pure burst damage that comes out of Jax right now is insane. And with Twisted Fate out of the equation for now for another 20 seconds, they are going to try and pick up their second dragon. They are about 2.6k ahead on gold. After this dragon it's going to be much more, of course. That was a very comfortable dragon in the end. Tristana did go back to spawn and picked herself up a BF sword and a pickaxe, so she is definitely looking strong right now. Credit to Ashe, she's got pretty much, in fact they have an identical build. The two AD carries have an identical build and there's only 3 creep score in it, so nothing to separate them two. Just the 2 dragons that have came and gone. And of course the global gold that goes into the back pocket courtesy of those towers. Speaking of which, the 4th tower has just been taken from play on Tristana. So looking good for them. 9-5 ahead, starting to push with 4 plays, making that 5 as Karthus is coming down from the jungle. And with Tristana with a pickaxe and BF sword, this tower should go down very quickly. Fnatic are not looking in a good position right now. Peke throwing out the wild cards, isn't able to hit anything other than minions, but of course that is going to take away some of those hits from the tower. And really now it's just a question, in my opinion, of when nFaculty decide to try and go for the Baron. I mean, 2 towers down at top lane, 2 towers down at bot lane, and 1 down in mid. They do by and large have map control right now. They don't have a great deal of ward coverage down around Baron, but that is going to be changed relatively soon, you have to feel, as a lot of the players are recalling. 3 to be precise. Alistair goes back. Is he going to pick up any wards? He has added the Heart of Gold and 2 wards, so I'm expecting to see him plant 1 around that Baron. And there is just the 1 ward coverage right now from Fnatic, so if they can take that one down. Do we have any oracles? Yes, we do. Alistair has the oracle, so if he pushes over to Baron, he can clear this ward out, and they can really start to push the pressure and apply it heavily onto Fnatic. As soon as that ward goes down, they're going to be wondering, oh god, we know they're on Baron Pit, but are they taking it? They're going to be forced into a position, and then you could potentially see a trap coming out from nFaculty. So there's 1 ward. Alistair's going to push up towards Baron. He's going to clear that ward coverage out, and as soon as the ward goes down, you're going to see Fnatic starting to wonder what is going on. All they know right now is that Nocturne is in mid and Jax is at top. Now Nocturne has just disappeared from their sight. They have no idea where Tristana is. They have no idea where Karthus is. But they have just seen Alistair there with the ward. Alistair actually walks through that ward, and yeah, some pings go down from his teammates. He's like, dude, you missed one. And he's going to go back and clear that one out. Jax, in the meantime, is going to apply pressure at the top. Karthus at the bottom. I like this play from nFaculty. They're really trying to pressure down Fnatic all over the map right now and making them split up. Yeah, Shen does go down bottom to try and stave off that onslaught. Here comes Jax though. He is so farmed right now. He can afford to do this. Nice one soon though from Janna. Here comes the Requiem from Karthus. Lots and lots of damage being exchanged. Alistair's going to go down underneath the tower. I think he's expecting his teammates to jump in quicker than that, but here comes Shen's ulti. This could be the mistake that gives Fnatic their leeway, their lifeline back into this. Double kill coming out from Peke. Warwick is in hot pursuit there with the blood scent. Here comes TF with the Destiny, slightly out of position, expecting to see nFaculty running up into the jungle. Oh my god, Jax somehow crushes Twisted Fate, but it does enough to allow the rest of Fnatic to pick up the stragglers. And lots of pings going on Baron. Are they going to attempt this one with 3 players, with Ashe on dangerously low health? The answer is a no. They're going to put a ward down and start to pull back. But that slight lapse in concentration where nFaculty went a bit Rambo mode. Alistair underneath the tower, sure, he has the unbreakable will, but when you have 3 or 4 players attacking you and a tower aggro on top of that, it's not going to keep you alive for too much longer. On top of that, Nocturne jumped in. Karthus was out of position, did manage to land a Requiem, but after Requiem was spent, he was basically useless in that team fight. He's going to try and make amends now onto Shushay, but needs to be careful because here comes Shen. Warwick is under heavy attack. In the meantime, he's flashing red. Is Karthus going to go down? He's trying his best to escape. He fails the flash, and he will be getting dropped surely any second now. But what about that for an ultimate from Tristana? Not going to do enough to save Karthus, but I think I'd have had a heart attack if it did. And the Vorpal Blade came in from Shen just to finish off Karthus, who must have thought for a split second, I love you Tristana, marry me, but it wasn't to be the case. And he will go down regardless. So 11-10, Fnatic definitely clawing their way back into this game. Tristana's going to take that red. Let's have a quick overview of some of those items that have been built up. Rabadon's Death Cap on both Karthus and TF respectively. Sheen has been picked up as well from TF. Rod of Ages, as we mentioned before, onto Karthus. Infinity Edge on both AD carries. So Tristana and Ashe both looking strong. Zeal on top of that from Ashe. And let's actually have a look at how much gold Tristana has. Only 400, nearly 500. I was expecting to see somewhere around the 1,000 mark there, having a look at her build. But, you know, she was getting a fairly decent amount of farm earlier on. But the last 5 or so minutes has definitely been going into Fnatic's hands. You can understand why her farm has started to slow down. Aegis of the Legion and an Oracle just got picked up there from Nocturne. And he has chugged through the Oracle straight away. So you can see the pink guy above him. He is going to have sight of invisible wards. And some pings going down onto Dragon, which has just respawned. So Nocturne's Oracle is going to be able to see that ward down from Fnatic, the lone solo ward, which has just seen Jax, Karthus, now Alistair pushing down. Nocturne coming out. Are they going to bother to clear this ward? No, they're just going to take the Dragon. They can see Shen at that bot lane. Cyanide needs to be oh so careful. They're going to take this opportunity to try a very sneaky Baron. They realise it's going to take them 5 to 10 seconds nFaculty to get up to this Baron. Shen popped his ultimate just to help out here. This could prove to be an epic play from Fnatic. They're going to give away the Dragon, but take the Baron. In the meantime, beautiful play from them. Volley being used to try and stave off this push from nFaculty. And he did see the counter-strike starting to spin around Jax, but he wasn't able to get the leap strike off. So Fnatic are going to be ecstatic about that trade-off there. Dragon for Baron. Going to go back to spawn, buy up a few items, and it just goes to show, ladies and gents, even if you are looking well and truly behind, there's always a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel. Just one small mistake, one small lapse in concentration from the enemy team can let you straight back into the game. Yes, they were fairly far behind on towers, but none of those inhibs were down, so they could still maneuver around the map fairly freely. And they're only now 1.6k gold behind. So very close, tense action here from these two teams. It's been a beautiful game so far. Really been enjoying this one. Shirai's Reverie has been used from Janna, who actually hasn't died a single time in this game, so doing a great job so far. What does Alistair have? Well, looks like he's going to be building similar. He has a Kindle Gem and also the Philo Stone, which of course are components for the recipe of Shirai's Reverie. Also has a Heart of Gold and a Cloth Armor. Neither of the supports have finished off their boots so far, which obviously isn't too important for them, especially on a Janna. Of course, she does have Zephyr, which gives her that movement speed in itself. A couple wits ends have been picked up actually from Fnatic. Warwick and also Shen have got one apiece. Shushei is still fairly far behind, and that's going to be reflected in him pushing that top lane. He's currently level 14, Jax is 15. The CS difference fairly huge though, 182 to Jax, 110 for Warwick. So he's been playing catch up for the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. Warden's Mail on Jax, so potentially going to be going towards that Randuin's Omen fairly soon, which would make sense. You can leap strike in, pop off the Randuin's Omen. It's very difficult to escape, especially when you have Karthus with the Wall of Pain, and Alistair with the Headbutt and Pulverize combination is really going to allow Nocturne and Tristana to lay down the law there. Randuin's Omen has just been finished off from Jax. That's what I was expecting to see. It's such a good item on him, especially when you see the rest of his team. It's going to work beautifully, and we are going to have to see though if nFaculty can utilise that to its fullest extent, because even if they do pop off the Randuin's Omen, if Shen is in contention, he will just taunt everybody in his path, and by the time that they kind of come out of that taunt, Randuin's Omen is by and large nearly going to be over, and it's going to buy his team some vital time. But we are going to have to just wait and see how this one plays out. Has gone back to the farming phase again. Pretty much you can understand why nFaculty don't want to engage on a Baron Fnatic right now. So Fnatic are going to try and make use of this Baron. They are going to be taking down this tier 2 tower in mid. And maybe with, let's have a see, there is less than a quarter remaining on this Baron. Here comes the ultimate from Twisted Fate onto Karthus. They realised he was well and truly out of position, and that's going to be Karthus going down without any retaliation whatsoever. That could prove to be a massive body blow from nFaculty. 45 seconds on the respawn timer for Karthus, and this is going to allow Fnatic to really try and pummel through these towers. They've taken down the tier 1 at bot lane. Can they take down tier 2? There's no reason why they shouldn't here. And as Karthus is massive on CC, he's huge on AoE damage on top of that. Fnatic are just going to be waiting for this wave of creeps to move on slowly upwards. Ashe with the volley can push back this creep wave alongside Wildcard without any issues. And here it comes, the damage onto this tower coming thick and fast. Shen pulls back towards mid. He realises they just simply don't need him right now. And they will indeed take down that tier 2 tower. So Fnatic definitely starting to bring themselves back in. They are now ahead on gold. They have been behind since pretty much the very beginning, and for the first time they now move slightly ahead. Baron has came to an end though, so that big buff that can really turn the tides of a battle is no longer going to play a part in this matchup. Taking a quick swig of a drink there, guys. Oh god, this game has been awesome. Nearly 30 minutes through, and you couldn't ask for a much more even affair here. 5-5 on towers, 11-11 on kills, and just a 2.3k advantage for Fnatic. A lot of people have given them stick recently for their slump in form after Season 1, but we've seen them take the scalps of Moscow 5. They're looking quite strong here tonight as well. Didn't have the greatest to start, but they've shown resilience to bring themselves back into this one. And resilience is such an important virtue to have at this kind of level of the game. They're marking that Karthus. They realise he has been separated from the herd. Destiny came out, I think for a couple seconds they were thinking of jumping on Karthus there, opting not to as they saw Tristana, Jax, and also Alistair in mid, who could have made the switch across fairly quickly. You are now going to have nFaculty trying to pick up this dragon once again. The whole team is there. They're going to pick this one up comfortably, and Fnatic are going to take this opportunity to go ahead and recall and buy up some items. So Frozen Heart's been finished off onto Warwick. It's going to make him tankier, more difficult to kill. Catalyst of the Protector and Lichbane finished off for TF. Nearly call him Trinity Force there. That would have been an epic fail. And on the flip side, nothing really to report for nFaculty. Must be a lot of gold there, yep. A couple of 1,000, 700, 800. Just Tristana on low gold there at 80. She did just go back, finished off the Phantom Dancer, so she has the Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge combination. Very similar to Ashe, who has just added a Last Whisper on top of that. So Jax and Alistair will be going down fairly quickly now from Ashe, alongside of course the rest of the team. And we're in that kind of tense period of the game again, ladies and gents, where that one small mistake will be a Baron to the opposition. So we are going to have the Baron dance, and nFaculty will be pushing on up. They have started this one off. Hawk shot goes right down the heart of Baron, and you can see everything they want to. A couple of wards are down as well. Jax has been chunked down to about 60% of his health. Tristana's lost a couple bars. Karthus gets hit pretty hard there from Twisted Fate. He's going to go back in once again, throwing in the wild cards. Only just misses Karthus. Here comes Nocturne, though, jumping on his own Tarzan, going crazy, living up to his name, but he's not been punished there for that over-exuberance. Here comes the ultimate long, thick and fast. Warwick's going to pick up two there. Shushay going huge. Can he get the triple? No. Ashe goes on to Nocturne. Karthus does return fire onto Peke, but you have to feel Tarzan. What the hell were you doing there? Jumping in without the rest of his team. Alistair's got Unbreakable Will, and he's going to headbutt Shen through that wall. In the meantime, Shushay is going to go on to Tristana to pick up his belated triple kill. You have a full house of kills. Warwick with 3, Ashe with 2, and they're now going to be starting off onto Baron. That's going to be a comfortable Baron. I just, again, I'm puzzled. I am itching my head. I'm scratching my head, and I wonder if there is a collective facepalm going on right now for nFaculty's voice communications, because I don't know why Nocturne jumped in first. I really don't understand. If the rest of his team were right there, I can kind of get it. If Wall of Pain's utilised, if Jax jumps in with the Randuin's Omen, I can understand. But jumping out there 1v5 and getting absolutely crushed really didn't help his team. This is what I was talking about. Jax's Randuin Omen is a beautiful item, but it needs to be executed properly, and his team needs to be in a vicinity where they can capitalise on that. That team fight, again, I don't want to harp on, but Nocturne really let his guard down there, and that's the kind of lapse in concentration that I was talking about prior. So, that's going to be the second consecutive Baron going to FnaticRC, and are they going to be able to finish off the game this time? They took a lot of towers, they gained back a lot of map control last time. I think it was 3 or 4 towers he ended up taking out. Ashe has added another BF sword. I mean, the positioning there from Fnatic was second to none. They probably weren't expecting that engage, but Ashe kind of dropped back a tiny bit, using the volley, using the frost shots to really to her advantage, just popping off from a distance, really slowing down the opposition, picking up the assist, picking up a couple kills. Shushay, now that he's been given a little bit of free reign to get some farm, has got the Frozen Heart and also the Wit's End with the phase, so he's doing a fair amount of damage, and he was just picking up kills here, there and everywhere. Infinite Duress was used onto Jax, I think it was, and he went down very quickly too. So now with this Baron, it looks like top lane has been marked with a target. They're going to be pushing up here. Shen, in the meantime, is going to be focusing at bot lane. Again, we've gone through this. He does have Stand Unite. He can afford to do this to really harass that bot, keep Nocturne down there. And with Baron 4v4, Fnatic will be coming out on top. No doubts about that whatsoever. Have taken down that tower, and nFaculty don't put up any kind of resilience. They know they couldn't have stayed there. and pull back to their inhib tower. They're going to try and defend this one, surely. Wall of Pain has been used from Karthus. Going to take down that creep wave. Cyanide does not seem to care. He's just like, yeah, I'll tank this tower all day long. You can kill my creeps. I don't really care. And he's gonna. It's just really smart play. He's taking Tarzan. He's taking one of those big damage dealing characters out of nFaculty, completely out of the team fight. Of course, Nocturne can still pull over with his ultimate, but right now he can't be putting down Duskbringer. He can't be a threat with Unspeakable Horror. He's going to have to pop the ultimate, and of course, as soon as they see the darkness descend, you're going to see Fnatic just slowly start to push back together. Their communications are going to be spot on. If Nocturne does land, they're going to know exactly where he is, and they're going to work together to take him out. And actually, Nocturne gets harassed back to spawn from Shen. I mean, Shen right now is so tanky. He has the Frozen Mallet, the Warden's Mail, Wit's End, Mercury Treads. Tristana will be exchanging a couple of blows there with TF pushing him back, but I don't think Peke is going to be too bothered about that one. Shuri's Reverie has been popped off. We should be seeing an engage. Nice gold card though, right off the bat from Twisted Fate, shutting down Alistar. He was the danger man there, because the Pulverize and Headbutt could have really set up a team fight for nFaculty. So smart, quick reactions from Twisted Fate, shutting down that team fight before it got a chance to even begin. And Shuri's Reverie will be on cooldown for another 30 or so seconds. Look at Trinity, look at Tristana's damage there on Ashe was ridiculous, and actually forced her to fire off the arrow just to ensure that she was safe. Baron has came to an end. It has been for a little while now, but still Fnatic are well and truly in the grill of nFaculty. That tower only has 900 health remaining. When Ashe starts to rain down on the tower, it's not going to last very long. What tower has been taken there from Shen? Awesome play from Cyanide. And this is the thing, Fnatic are basically just choking out nFaculty, and that's going to force this Shuri's Reverie. Shen ultimate comes on in, Nocturne with Paranoia. Can Shen land many taunts? It's going to be two there, onto the two most influential players there, Jax and also Tristana will be getting completely taken up that team fight. Karthus will shut down Warwick. Twisted Fate back onto Jax. He's going to get taken out from Alistar. Do they have enough damage to take out Cyanide? Not too sure. Nice Howling Gale. Beautiful damage from Ashe, who comes from the side, back from the grave it would seem, and picks herself up a kill. She does get down for her troubles, but that's a 3-for-3 exchange. And that was an engage from nFaculty. So Nocturne and Jax both getting caught up in the Shen taunt. Really nice play from Cyanide. Even though he threw himself in harm's way, does come out of that one relatively unscathed. He doesn't go down, so you can have Alistar and Tristana still up from nFaculty, both on fairly decent health. Janna and Shen are still up for Fnatic. Some more items are being built up. Large Rod on Twisted Fate. Giant's Belt for Karthus. Will he be going for the Ryle's Crystal Scepter? It's definitely a possibility. Last Whisper completed onto Tristana there. A Chain Vest and also a Cloak of Agility for Shen, so we could be seeing the Atmar's Impaler very shortly. Not an item that you see too often now. It was nerfed in the previous patch, but Shen seems to think, hey, it doesn't matter if it's been nerfed, it's still useful for me right now. That is, of course, if he does go along with that assumption. He could change his mind. But Dragon is up. Cyanide is going to move his way towards there. Janet is on her way. And Shushay is lurking around mid. Looks like Shen is going to try and solo this one. There's no ward coverage from either team. So nFaculty don't actually know what is going on. They can probably have a good guesstimate, but they're not sure. And Shen will be picking this Dragon up. He's going to solo that one like a boss. Twisted Fate in the meantime is going to be pushing up towards top. There are 4 players coming up for him though. If Tristana can land a rocket jump alongside Nocturne, you can see that shot flying through the air. Look at the damage onto Twisted Fate. Gets absolutely destroyed. Now going on to Janna. Janna should be going down. Nice Monsoon attempt to push everybody back, but just delaying the inevitable. Beautiful Ashe arrow comes up there. Tristana finishes it off. And unfortunately, that is going to be 2 players going down for Fnatic. Just caught out of position there. And Nocturne using his ultimate, setting up that kill onto Peke. As much damage as he does, he's not overly tanky, and he went down in a heartbeat. That is going to give nFaculty the opportunity to pick up this Baron. So we've had 2-1 on the Baron tally. Shen perhaps going to be trying to take out an inhib in retaliation, but seeing Jax with that Baron, he seems a bit frightened, and he will be pulling himself back. So Jax has actually had the Bilgewater Cutlass since the very beginning of the game. I thought he'd be going for the Hextech Gunblade straight away, but hey, he hasn't decided to do so. He's went for more of a tankier approach with Phage and also Randuin's Omen, which also makes complete sense. So now it's nFaculty's turn to press the Baron button and see what the result is. Ashe doing a lot of damage there. Onto Nocturne. Oh my god, here comes Twisted Fate. Nice rocket jump, but look at that damage from TF. Here comes Shushe onto Nocturne, who's already injured. He should be going down as well. Alistair pops the Unbreakable Will. They don't want to focus onto him right now. Can Peke get up the stun count in time? No, he can't. But that's going to be a dead Karthus regardless. Here comes the Requiem. Is it enough to kill anybody? Oh, so close from Janna, popping the Monsoon, trying to save Janna. Trying to save Ashe, my apologies, but she's not able to do so, as Requiem is doing more than enough damage to take her out. So that ended up being a nice exchange for Fnatic, a 2 for 3 at the end. And it makes him even more impressive when you consider that nFaculty had a Baron. So Fnatic did manage to get rid of Karthus, Tristana and Nocturne's Baron buff. Just Jax and Alistair remain. Jax is doing a lot of damage, but I don't think he can take 3 players on his own. Shen's going to go for that taunt. Here comes Warwick. They try the auto attack of Doom. Counter-strike has been popped off as well. Can they pick up this kill? Shen will land the taunt underneath the tower. Howling Gale, but look at how much damage Jax is absorbing right now. Tries the counter-strike right at the end, but finally they do manage to pick that one up. So that will be 4 players without Baron buff. Just Alistair remains now the support for nFaculty, but it's not going to make a great deal of difference on him. Fnatic are going to pull themselves back. Job done from their perspective. Going to plop a ward down there around blue buff just to get some added vision of the map. Doesn't seem to be a great deal of wards out on the battlefield right now though. From either team, it has to be said. But it's really going to be end-to-end stuff now. 7 towers to 5. Fnatic are in the driver's seat. 6.5k gold ahead. 23-19 after 43 minutes 20. Lots of full item builds coming in. Twisted Fate has finished things off with Azonia's Hourglass. He still has a Doran's Ring, which of course he can sell. Is he going to go for an ultimate here? Is he going to try and pick up a kill onto Nocturne? Dark Shroud did come out. Shen has popped his ulti. His ulti is what I was talking about right at the beginning of the game. These two can work in conjunction with one another so well, transition from any period on the map and pick up a kill. It's exactly what they're going to do here onto Nocturne, who is one of the scarier members of nFaculty right now, and also going to maybe try and pick up that top inhib tower. Not to be the case though, as Jax and Tristana do move on over. And they're now supported by Karthus and Alistair, but that tower has only 274 health remaining. It's only going to take a couple knocks. Wall of Pain has been popped out. They do have just the one player with Baron. That's not going to make any difference to Fnatic's mentality right now. They want to take this tower down. They want to leave that inhib vulnerable. And they really want those super minions to start charging on the battlefield. Ashe does actually have a Guardian's Angel, which is a really nice pickup from her. Twisted Fate taking all kinds of damage from Karthus. They are actually going to push back this onslaught for now. Very tense atmosphere. You feel neither team wants to make a mistake. Neither team wants to give this match away. It's still up in the air. It's a 50-50 coin flip, in my opinion. Yes, Fnatic have the upper hand, but at this stage of the game, as for player dies, they're going to be out for 40-50 seconds. And neither team has a great deal of towers to play with, so one team fight is going to make or break this game, you have to feel right now. Wily's Crystal Scepter has indeed been finished on Karthus, which makes sense. That Wall of Pain, his Defile, his Lay Wastes are going to be slowing down the enemy even more. You have 2 Randuin's Omens on the playing field from nFaculty, Jax and also Nocturne. Frozen Mallet has been picked up from the Nocturne, Trinity Force on Jax, and you have just the one Randuin's Omen on Shen. Such a good item for him though. Taunt and Randuin's Omen, very difficult to escape the Wrath. This mid tower will be going down, only 100. Nicer Eye of the Storm attempt though from Janna. Nowhere near absorbing enough damage, and they could actually potentially pick up this inhib tower as well. Nope, they're going to pull themselves back. This is really where those global ultimates are going to start to come in handy. I mean, Twisted Fate, if he feels the need, he could always try and backdoor that top tower as well, you know. It's only on 74 health. That's pretty much one auto attack from TF, and that's going to be dropped. So if they feel it's a potential possibility, Peke could always try the back door. TF is going to pop the ultimate. They now realise that Dragon is being had, and what did I just say about TF backdooring? They saw the opportunity and they have struck on this one. The inhib is going to go down as well from Peke. Really smart play. They don't mind trading off a Dragon for an inhib, let me tell you. And now he's going to recall. Really cheeky stuff. Is he going to get away though? No, Tristana uses rocket jump. And Sonya's hourglass, only the delaying the inevitable. Can he pick up a kill onto Nocturne? So close to landing those wild cards, and the ignite ticking down. And kind of a cheeky recall attempt, just thwarted from the rocket jump of Tristana, and he will be getting down. But still, I think a kill and a Dragon is worth the inhib trade. Having said that though, he's going to be down for 55 seconds, and there's always a possibility that nFaculty are just going to try and push this one home now. Shen, look at him though. Cyanide's being cheeky as well. He's going to try and pick up an inhib. This is going to be the second to go down. So 2 sets of super minions will be on the battlefield. nFaculty are going to take this opportunity to try and even the odds, taking down that mid tower and the mid inhibitor as well. Nocturne has pulled himself back. That second inhib has been dropped. They could actually be trying to just finish off the Nexus towers. Shen's going to ultimate onto Warwick. Infinite Duress has been popped off. Here comes Shen. Beautiful taunt. Gets 2 or 3 players in amongst all of that. Alistair, with the Unbreakable Will, is going to try and hold off the attack on towards Jax and Tristana. Big ulti coming on from Karthus, but doesn't really do anything to separate the two teams. And that's a 2-for-2 trade overall on the battlefield. But now Twisted Fate is back up again. Karthus and Alistair both down for 50 plus seconds. Warwick, Shushay, the only player for Fnatic to be on the bench still. With this Oracle from Janna, who's only died 1 time in nearly 50 minutes, you have to give her props for that, is going to try and clear up these wards. This is the time to strike for Baron. Jax, Nocturne, Tristana, all doing a lot of damage, but they are a player down. Shen is up. He can taunt, and he can be a real handful. They are going to get this Baron. So Fnatic, 3rd Baron to them. 3-1 scoreline in that respect. Destiny has been used from Twisted Fate. It is just going to allow him to get a bit of an idea of the overall view of the map and where the enemy players are currently moving around. And the answer is towards top. We're going to stop these super minions from pushing. And in this kind of situation, it's 2 super minions versus 1. Fnatic definitely have control. Until that inhib at top spawns, they can pretty much steal all the farm on the map. They can go into the opposition jungle fairly confident in the knowledge that nFaculty aren't going to push a great deal away from their spawn. Oh, this is tense, ladies and gents. I wasn't expecting a 50-minute game in round 2 here of the Fnatic Play RaidCall Cup. But I'm delighted that is the case, because this has been a real cracker for you guys at home. I hope you're enjoying it. Lots of items have been built up. Indeed, we will have an Atmars and Payload on Shen, as I was saying before. He has also gone for the Thornmail, so Tristana is actually going to be indirectly hurting herself if she starts to pummel away and set and tee off onto Shen. That's the reason he's built those items. And this mid, look at that damage from Twisted Fate. Nocturne has popped off his Paranoid. This could be the last stand for nFaculty. If they win this team fight, they've got every chance to take the game. If they lose it, it will be game over. Monsoon used from Janna. Beautiful play there. Shen going on to the teammate of, I believe that was Ash. Shen getting the second kill. Here comes Requiem. How many sources going to claim? 2. Gets a double kill. Gets the triple, in fact. Beautiful play coming out from Karthus. But they have even the odds here, as Twisted Fate gets the 3rd kill. So that's going to be a 3-for-3 exchange. Karthus picking them all up for nFaculty. And it was pretty much split even. I think Shen, Ashe, and Twisted Fate all picked up one on their team. Needs to be careful because the rocket jump is going to come in here from Tristana. Look at the raw output that Tristana is putting down there. And if Howling Gale hadn't have been used and landed onto Tristana, I have to feel that Peke would have been going down. So again, Feliok's doing a beautiful job for his team. They're going to try the back door here as he has destroyed a tower, Peke, but instantly gets shut down from Nocturne and Tristana. But a nice effort all the same, I think. To be honest, it's a nice trade-off. 60 seconds he'll be waiting, but remember, there's 3 players on nFaculty who have to wait 15 to 20 seconds, so it's going to be much less than that. He did manage to pick up a Nexus tower. Every inch of ground makes all the difference this far through the game. That second Nexus tower, of course, they do regen slowly but surely, but it's on 550 health. That mid inhib has respawned, so 2 inhibs have respawned now, just the one is down. And also 1 down for Fnatic, but that must be due up any second now. $10 to 7 towers. Goal difference 7.5k. 29-25 after nearly 52 minutes. Wowzers, this has been awesome. The only question left to be answered is who's going to take this one home and how are they going to do it? Is it going to be a lapse in concentration from Nocturne again? Is it going to be some epic pentakill action from Karthus? We're going to have to find out in the next few minutes. Blue team's inhibitor is respawning soon. We have just been informed from the lovely announcer, as will be the purple team. So nearly all the super minions will be taken out. There we go, purple teams and blue teams respawning almost at the exact same time. Item builds aplenty have been built up here. Janna actually has the Locket of the Iron Solari, which will give, of course, all nearby champions a shield. Damage, absorbing damage I should say, not damaging absorb, that would be quite strange. Zeke's Herald has been finished off on Janna. And over to Alistair has the Shariah's Reverie, the Randuin's Omen. So they actually have 3 Randuin's Omens now. No, they don't, sorry, they've still got 2. But there are 3 on the battlefield. Quicksilver Sash has been built up from Tristana, which of course makes complete sense. There are actually 4 stuns, or you could say 4 heavy CCs. Obviously, Shen doesn't stun you, but he does taunt you. Twisted Fate stun card, Ashe's Arrow, and Warwick's Infinite Duress. That Quicksilver Sash is really going to come in handy for that Tristana. 2 Zhonya's Hourglasses, 1 for Karthus, 1 for Twisted Fate. We have reached that kind of tense lull in the action, where I think both teams are pretty much just waiting for Baron. I'm sure the next fight that will kick off will be against Baron, unless one of these players makes a bit of a mistake. But again, you know, it's difficult now, you have to say, for nFaculty, because if they move towards Baron, they run the risk of Twisted Fate destinying behind them, taking down Inhib, and then potentially taking down that second Nexus tower. So they always have to keep one eye open on Destiny and where Twisted Fate is heading towards. And of course with Shen as well, Twisted Fate and Shen can suddenly appear in your base and take it down quite comfortably. It could actually end up being a base race this game, in which case you would have to favour Fnatic purely on the basis that they have 2 Nexus towers and nFaculty only have 1. That's down to Peke's back dooring attempt before, which he did go down to, but again, he was going to be happy about that one. The one downside of having a game this long is when you're solo casting for like 55 minutes in a row, and then beforehand it was like 30 minutes, your voice starts to get quite strained. So again, I apologise guys if I randomly kind of take breaks and don't talk 100% of the time, but I'm sure you can understand. I'm going to have Fnatic, as I'm blabbering on, starting to congregate around the Baron pit. Twisted Fate is down towards, well, he's actually in the tri-bush at bot lane, and Shen moving slowly but surely up towards Baron as well. Twisted Fate getting lots and lots of nice creep farm. In fact, let's have a look at the creep score overall. Who is doing the best? It's gonna be Karthus, 445. The second place is Twisted Fate with 425. And third place is going to be Tristana, 389. Baron came and it went, as I was mentioning that, which is exactly what I was expecting to happen, because nFaculty don't want to push because of that Twisted Fate and Shen. And Baron went in the blink of an eye, so Fnatic have got 4 Barons by my count now, 4 or 5, and nFaculty have only picked up the 1. The only downside of allowing Fnatic to pick up this Baron is they are going to have an advantage going into this, which should be the final team fight. Whoever wins this, I have to feel, will win the game, unless it goes down to a 4 for 5 exchange or something like that. A categorical team victory right now will be a win. It's just all down to who tees this one off first. Karthus did eat a wild card. Alistair instantly popping that heal himself. Going to use the triumphant roar. Here we go, Shiraz Reverie has been popped in. Nocturne's going to jump right in. Look at that damage onto Piqué, but he is going to pop his Zhonya's Hourglass. Will go down regardless from Jax, though. Tristana's trying her best to actually escape from Warwick. Nice ultimate, pushing him back into the fray of Jax and Alistair. In the meantime, we have 2 kills being exchanged towards the mid. Here comes an ultimate from Karthus. Is it going to be enough to silence anybody? No, it won't. And Shen was just fine popping that shield, so that's a 1 for 2 exchange. Twisted Fate, Karthus and Nocturne all fell, but that was not a clinical, not a categorical victory. Fnatic, obviously, goes without saying, have the upper hand, but they don't have enough of an advantage to push this one home and take it outright right here, right now. Here comes Jax, going to be jumping in with the leap strike and the counter strike. Shen's going to be ultimating on towards Shushay. Are they going to be able to land this one off? Nice ultimate there as the rocket jump goes off. Here comes Shen, so much damage on towards Tristana. She's going to be going down. Now Ash's going to try and pick up the double onto Alistair. That's going to be the GG surely, as Tristana's out for 70 seconds, Alistair for 75. And that is going to be the good game. Fnatic picking this one up at about the 1 hour mark in round 2 of the Fnatic Play RaidCall Cup, unless Jax can pull off something extraordinary here. He's taking a lot of punishment, but that Nexus is going to be going down regardless, guys. And that was just all-out epicness from both teams. Both can take a bow. Fnatic finally picking that one up. And as one of the best single games I've seen for a long time, if not ever, guys. Really hope you enjoyed that. We're going to cut to a very quick commercial break because I need to go to the bathroom and I need to get a lot of fluids down me. And yeah, we'll be joining you for round 3, which will be coming up in the next few minutes. Stay tuned and see you soon.